that he like goes to each person. He's like, you need to eat poop, and he has no interest in organizing a body of governance, then no, it's not a state.
Right.
That is a body of
But
government.
is
In that
everybody eating
government,
poop?
therefore, it's an obligation to eat poop in that government.
Oh my God.
This is episode 9. So we're following up on our previous examination of our member Anvil's political views. We made you take the political compass test, and you turned out to be a giant fucking commie.
Yeah. Turns out I'm one of them socialists.
They have these charts where they place other politicians, and some people, have complained about like where certain politicians get placed relative to one another or whatever, but you were way, way out on the left end, so, I mean, it's pretty clear you're at least some sort of commie. So we're going to figure out exactly what kind by doing this left values quiz. All right.
What kind of commie is our conservative friend? Left values. Instructions. You will be presented with a series of statements. For each one, click the button with your opinion on it. Do you understand the instructions?
Yes.
Just say yes. Oh, gosh.
The fact that you understand the instructions means you're definitely not conservative. Anyway, let's go.
All right.
Question 1 of 72. Class conflict is a force that has influenced much of human history. Strongly agree. Agree. Neutral / unsure. Disagree. Strongly disagree.
Strongly agree, but holy shit. Who would disagree with that? Is there a human being that would say that class conflict doesn't play a significant role in history?
Yeah, I mean, some people would
Question
argue
2.
nationality or whatever, right? I mean, there are people who don't really believe in class as a real thing.
Question 2.
Okay.
We must radically alter our food consumption in order to limit the exploitation of nature.
I mean, strongly agree. Yeah.
Industrialized farming practices must be abolished, even if it leads to lower outputs.
Are these like questions targeted for me? I strongly agree.
No, I promise. These are in random order.
People of similar cultures should unite in federations or confederations.
I don't know how to take that question. Only people of similar cultures? I wouldn't agree with that. I don't know. I'm not sure how to take the question.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically say only, but I think the idea is supposed to be, should they group together? This is kind of a question about globalism versus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's.
Should birds of a feather flock together?
I'm gonna say neutral on that. I'm a big fan of local communal living, but I do think globalization has its benefits too. Yeah, I'm neutral on that.
Yeah, so I kind of agree on that one. I think that's so. It's an interesting question, but the idea of like, well, is it intrinsically better if it's, and also the grouping along cultural lines? Like, I don't know if that's what I care about necessarily, right? That is a particular choice to serve with odd.
Question 5. Democratic centralism is an authoritarian organizational structure that disregards the masses.
They mean political centrism, or is there something else I'm not understanding?
Centralism. Yeah, so this is now we're getting really into the weeds here, right? So democratic centralism, what's the idea? Originally, this was a policy of like, I think it was Lenin's sort of making. The idea being essentially that like there is a democratic group and they decide on things and their decisions are binding, regardless of what other people have to say about it, essentially, right? One of the tricky parts here is that it doesn't really talk about anything about the limits on what that democratic structure is allowed to vote on. Like, are they allowed to vote on what I can have for breakfast, right? Then I might consider that to be authoritarian.
Yeah, I would consider that to be, I'd strongly agree that it is authoritarian and not.
Right. So, right. And the counter argument for that, of course, is that, well, if it's a democratic structure, right, then they are representing the masses or whatever, right? But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I would the benefit of there's two things that I would think about that with that kind of power wielded by like some voting group that isn't just the people who have the votes, right? Then
representatives.
Then you have to weigh that against the two, potential options, which are like anarchy, which I would even say is a sight better than that, in my opinion, and some kind of constitutional protection, which is foundational to what their powers are limited to.
So if it were a direct democracy, you'd be more willing to entertain the notion of democratic centralism?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I think I agree.
Question 6. National liberation or self-determination for all peoples is a good concept.
Yeah. I strongly agree with that.
That's a strong yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even totally sure I completely understand the question, to be honest, but I mean, to the extent that I
Like,
think
is
that I
it
do,
like
where it's about like independence movements being able to like be like, hey, we don't like the way you're running
Yeah.
things, we want to split off and run things on our own.
maybe it's a reference to imperialism. I'm not quite sure either. Like,
Now,
they need to be more.
I will say sometimes those independence movements are just a cover for like, hey, we discovered natural resources directly under our feet and our feet alone, and we don't feel like sharing.
I'm going to take the question at its word and assume it's being good faith about it, what it describes as national liberation movement.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Question 7. Measures to address the environmental issues are unacceptable if they result in significant decrease in production and qualities of life.
Oh, well, I was ready to strongly disagree until they said quality of life. I mean, what is an environmental protection if it's not an attempted improvement of quality of life?
Yeah, that's a good question. So,
I think I'll take the spirit of the question and say I agree. Maybe not strongly because I'm withholding that potential. Like there is a limit to how much harm to people I'm willing to cause in the name of environmental protection.
Sure, right? Yeah, but maybe quality of life means people don't get to eat meat anymore, or only in special occasions or something. But maybe if quality of life, if quality of life means like I don't know. Yeah, you must spend a year turning the wheel or whatever, right? Maybe
so it's a soft agree. Soft
agree. Yeah.
Question 8. Local planners rather than national planners are more efficient at running a planned economy.
Oh, I just don't know. I don't have a strong enough economics background to know.
Well, that's a reasonable reason to pick on, sure.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this is a very epistemic question. It doesn't seem like it's measuring like an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, people have ideological preferences for bottom up versus top down or whatever, right? I think, really any.
And if the question were that, I would have a preference. If the question were ideological, I would have a preference.
And what would your question
about? Well, it's more efficient. Yeah. Well, I mean, people have an ideological belief about whether or not it would be more efficient, hypothetically, right?
Yeah, but I'm in the camp like I think local planning would be better for a planned economy, but not because it's more efficient. It might be, but I'm willing to sacrifice efficiency, I guess, is my point of view on that.
You think it might be better in some other metric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of efficiency, I think any real plan would need to go both bottom up and top down, right? I mean, wouldn't you need because
I would assume
all the inputs are going to come from the outside, right? And so if you're aren't you going to coordinate those resources too? Isn't that the whole idea of the planned economy? I mean, I don't understand.
I'm not an economist, right? But just on a cursory thought experiment, now that I think about it, it does seem I would agree that national organization of a planned economy is going to be more efficient because otherwise, the local polities are just the local polities are just throwing their goods into a pile and fighting over the price of goods. I don't know.
I mean they're just. I guess you would have an intercity market and then a local planned economy or something. I don't know. I mean, you have buyers unions that get together and work with the local co-ops to establish their.
I think it's what crypto is trying to say. It's testing. What do you prefer, bottom up or top down? I think that's what they actually are trying to figure out.
I prefer bottom up economies, but that has to do with my preference for specifically the complexity of city trade or whatever would necessitate that people trade more within their individual polities than without, which is my preference. So whether that's more efficient or not, I don't know.
You would still say neutral.
I'd say national is more efficient. If we're just measuring efficiency, which the question seems to be doing, national seems more efficient.
Okay, so disagree.
So you disagree, though? Disagree or strongly disagree?
Soft disagree.
Right. Soft disagree. Question 9. Minority populations should receive special legal protections.
Again, the question is weird. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to dig into everyone, but no, there are specific. If you can articulate a reason why a minority population should receive special exceptions and dispensations, but Not just
I mean,
because you happen to be a minority
well,
group.
I mean, ostensibly, it would be a minority that's been discriminated against. Right? I mean, I don't know what they would be being protected.
There are minority
against,
groups that aren't.
if not discrimination.
Let's say they're, maybe Native Americans or Black people or Jewish people. Would you agree that those populations should receive special legal protections?
At least
Not in
two
a
of them.
post-racial
No,
world.
go
Oh, Jesus. You really are a conservative piece of shit.
What did you say? Not what?
He
I said at least two of them.
Which one is without legal protection, you asshole?
We're not actually going to that. No, I agree. I would not say I strongly agree, but I would agree because the question is so broad. Like, what does it mean by legal protection? Is it just talking about like the Civil Rights Act? Is it talking about? Because I agree with
That
that.
would be an example.
That would be an example. The Matthew Shepard Act is an example, protection for homosexual people.
I think that there has been no Civil Rights Act passed in the United States that falls in that category that I have disagreed with. So, okay,
Sure.
all right. In that case, I'll say strongly agree, I guess, since that's the case.
Oh, look at you! You upgraded. You leveled up. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think again, if they need protections, right? If it's such the case that they need protections, then like probably right, it makes sense that they should get it.
Yes, yeah.
Because that means they're probably being discriminated against.
Question 10. The establishment of socialism is gradual process rather than an instant or rapid one.
It seems like not a true dichotomy. I think socialism could be established either way. We're saying what we prefer.
Yeah, I mean, this is a question about like tactics, right? Like, should we be trying for revolutionary change or reformist or what?
Reform. That's essentially what they're asking. Are you reformist or revolutionary?
I would have said reformist just what 7 months ago, but now revolution.
So disagree or strongly disagree?
That's strongly disagree.
What happened? What happened those 7 months ago that changed your mind, sir?
Mm-hmm. Or what is it? Well, no, I guess it's been what 11 months now. Has it really been that long? My God.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
stuff happened.
We all know what you're talking
I'm not going to publicly say anything bad about certain people, but stuff happened.
Yeah, so things happen.
Right.
Got it.
Question 11. It is acceptable for humanity to suffer to some notable extent in order to preserve the natural ecosystem.
Yeah, of course.
How yeah? Much yeah or little yeah?
Yeah, much yeah. Strongly yeah.
Oh,
Question 12. Religions overall have a mostly positive effect and should remain influential in society.
Yes, I agree. Not strong.
Yeah, you're a religious person. Question 13. Policies that enable mass immigrations are naive and should not be implemented. Heavens.
I strongly disagree.
All right, good.
Strongly disagree.
Your brain works. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Question 14. Modern social democracy is a betrayal of left-wing values.
No, I disagree. Not strongly, but I disagree.
Yeah. So the question there is kind of asking about socialism and like, is making a deal with capitalism an acceptable alternative to to really putting capital in the hands of workers?
Well, that's like saying, that unions are a betrayal towards socialism.
There are
because they are
leftists who would
essentially
there are leftists who would make that argument and say that unions are a waste of time. If you need
leftists
unions, that
sometimes
means
suck.
that workers don't own the means of production.
I want to live. Look, we're not going to destroy capitalism tomorrow, and I want to live in the best world possible in the meantime, right?
Sure.
So,
Okay. Well, take it up with the accelerationists.
Question 15. A centrally planned economy based around computers is a concept worth investigating.
Wrongly disagree.
You don't want to have computers centrally planning the economy.
I have. Look, can I use slurs here?
What's kind of slurs?
Yeah, I don't want clankers running the economy.
Wow. With a hard C, huh?
You know what you're called? Anvil, you're called a primitivist. You barbaric primitivist ape. Anyway, question 16. Humanity must return to the primitive ways of the past to overcome long-term climate issues.
Yes, correct. I mean, that's just a fact.
I don't understand. How is dragging women by their hair into your cave going to help climate change? That's fucked up.
I strongly agree, of course.
Question 17. Any socialist country should be dedicated to exporting their ideology abroad.
Interesting. When I hear about exporting ideology, I think about war, which I would be opposed to,
Mm.
obviously.
What about like a left-wing missionary where you just educate people?
Yeah, I'm in favor of that. I'll say I agree, but not strongly, because with the caveat of I would
Sure.
just limit that.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's an interesting thought, right? Like, but if you think about it, right? I mean, think about it in terms of chattel slavery. I would hope that an abolitionist society, right, would be pushing its morality on other people. Maybe not by going to war.
I think it would be a moral thing to go to war over ending
No,
slavery.
I mean, I agree, but I mean that should be the last resort, right?
Yes.
I don't see wage labor as equivalent to chattel slavery. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, of course it's not. Of course it's
No,
not.
it
But
doesn't
still
have to be
immoral.
equivalent. Yeah, it doesn't have to be equivalent. I agree that it is not. It's not exactly the same, right? But
Like second
it's
degree
a question
murder
of
is
degree,
bad,
right?
but first degree murder is worse. Anyway, question 18. Mass spontaneous actions are more effective than carefully planned actions.
Mass what? What was the first word?
Spontaneous.
Mass spontaneous actions are more effective than carefully planned actions.
Strongly disagree. That's stupid.
Well, I mean, okay. So it's like, are you a fan of Occupy or whatever?
Yeah, I'm not saying mass spontaneous actions aren't good, but more effective? Obviously not.
I mean,
The
to be
reason
honest, I'm not sure how
Occupy as a
effective.
movement, the Occupy as a movement fizzled out specifically because nobody was planning anything. People tried to organize
That's
under
true.
a banner and make.
That's true. It did sort of introduce the term of like the 1% as a concept into the general populace, at least. I mean, I don't know.
Question 19. Material conditions and needs are the dominant drive behind socioeconomic changes.
Yes, I strongly agree that dialectical materialism is true. Can you be a socialist if you don't agree with this?
I mean,
Of
I'm
course you
not
can.
big into dialectics, and I'm a little bit of an idealist too.
Yeah, I don't think you can't make moral prescriptions on the basis of dialectical materialism. It's kind of where I fall.
Also, who taught you those words? I thought
Yeah,
you were
what
supposed
Karl
to be
Marx?
conservative.
What do you-
Why have you been hanging around? You're not supposed to know our language.
But anyway,
He's not
you
altering.
strongly agree or what?
Yeah, strongly agree.
Strongly agree. Okay.
Question 20. A socialist government has no right to disrupt religious or cultural traditions in any situation.
I'm going to say, I'm going to say disagree just because of the wording. We definitely should stop human sacrifice. That would be like absolutely.
But I don't even mind human sacrifice. If people consent to something, I think if I consent to being sacrificed, that's like none of your business, man.
Would you agree that it's true in most situations?
Yeah. It would be wrong to, even in like marginally harmful situations, right? It would be wrong to intervene.
Like in Jewish tradition during Passover, even children drink wine. Do you think it would be wrong for a state to have established no underage drinking to disrupt that tradition?
I would even go further. I would take one that I would say children drinking wine is so harmless that the government should interrupt never. But
I mean, they gotta at some point, you got a drunk baby. You can't have that.
I presume that people aren't on the regular getting. There's nothing about like getting them drunk. That's a whole different thing than sipping a wine, right? That is not a government needs to intervene.
But the way you phrased it is you said you would go extreme and not intervene under any circumstance.
I would go with an even heavier example, and I would say, like, take for instance the Maori people. They historically, they don't so much anymore, but they used to tattoo children with like tribal ink to mark their tribe. It's not consenting, right? Because they're children, and it's expected. It's culturally ingrained in them. They have to do this, and it's painful, and it's a permanent mark and chained alteration to their body. I would even go so far as to say government should not intervene in matters like even that severe.
To me, it sounds like you're an agree, but not strongly agree, not a disagree.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Okay, so Anvil, which one was it?
Agree, but not strongly.
Question 21. Bureaucracy and inefficiency are always inherent in centrally planned economies.
This is another question that feels like an econ question. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, you can pick that. Question 22. The international proletariat belongs to no country.
On the surface, it sounds like I strongly agree.
What's your interpretation of this question?
My understanding of this question is that, like, to the degree that a state is representative of the workers within that state? Is there some group that represents or state that represents like the total international group of workers? That's how I understand this question. My answer would be no.
Sure. The way I kind of view it is that essentially class interests transcend national boundaries, right? And so,
Yes, I would agree with that.
yeah, organizing as a group, right? Ideally, should should have nothing to do with nationality.
All right, so you strongly agree, right?
Yes. Yep.
Question 23. Only a mass workers' party can achieve any meaningful long-term goals.
Strongly disagree.
Question 24. Revolution is the best way of achieving a socialist society.
I agree, but not strongly.
Question 25. A world socialist republic is a realistic and desirable goal.
Disagree.
Okay, so that's
Disagree.
interesting because there's an and in there.
Realistic, yes. Desirable, no.
Oh, really? No, that's interesting because I would have said the other way around.
Okay. Yeah.
You think it's undesirable that there be a worldwide socialist like organization?
I guess I took it to mean when he said republic, I took it to mean a world government.
Yeah, I guess in a way. I mean, a socialist government that encompasses the whole world at that point. I don't know what that looks like exactly. I mean, is that like a...
I don't know either.
The
But what is
United
it?
States of planet Earth.
If it doesn't have, I guess the question is like, if it doesn't have force, what is it? Does it matter?
Sure.
If small local polities can still operate on their own anarchistic like principles without its,
What if it has the sufficient force to inflict the rules of socialism?
no, yeah, I don't think that's desirable.
Okay, so which one is it?
So, yeah, strongly disagree.
Soft disagree. Question 26. Trade unions and workers' councils should form the basis of a social society.
No. I disagree.
No, you're not into labor movements?
Big no or small no?
Well, small no, but these questions are aimed at a person who identifies as socialist. Like, I don't think
Yes.
socialism is the goal.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Fair enough.
You believe socialism is the whole. Question 27. I would be willing to sacrifice economic resources in my home country in order to help other countries.
Yes, strongly agree.
You're a good person. Question 28. It is foolish to expect renewable energy sources to be able to replace fossil fuels.
I'm not a scientist, but I think from what I've heard that I strongly disagree with that.
Isn't like 80% of America's energy from like natural gas or some shit?
That's pretty high, but the leaps and bounds that solar has made in terms of efficiency, the improvements that have been made for other renewables. I mean, I don't think it's impossible to have a green energy.
Would nuclear
structure.
be considered renewable green energy?
Depends who you ask,
With
I guess.
nuclear.
I don't know. I think
Nuclear? Oh, I don't think that it's renewable. I mean, we can't exactly grow more like uranium or whatever.
Anyway, so which one is it, Abel?
I can't remember how the question was phrased.
Is it foolish to expect renewable resources to be able to replace fossil fuels?
Oh, strongly disagree.
Yeah, it is not foolish. That's a reasonable thought.
Right.
Question 29. Revolutionary violence is acceptable as long as the final outcome is positive. Now, for your sake, since you live in America, we can skip this question if you have a certain inclination.
No, I'll answer this question. But, unfortunately, it's going to be a religious answer to the question. I strongly disagree.
Boo.
Question 30. Open borders between like-minded socialist countries is desirable.
I strongly agree, but why only like-minded socialist countries? I say open borders all the time, forever.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see why a socialist country might not want to let in any, fucking CIA operative or whatever from America, right?
Sure. I just think that's going to be pretty well drowned out by honest seekers who are looking for a better life.
Sure.
Like the million.
Yeah, of course.
Question 31. The oppression of LGBTQI+ people is a major issue that needs to be seriously addressed. As I read it like an imbecile.
As you unseriously read the question.
Yeah, of course, I strongly agree. Who's a socialist that isn't agreeing with that?
You would be surprised. There's
You'll be
some
surprised.
fucking weirdos out
There are a contingency of socialists that think all this gay nonsense is just some lib shit that we need to do away with.
Yeah, it's like a distraction.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I strongly agree, of course.
Question 32. Socialist organizations are generally better off when organized loosely and decentrally.
Again, I find myself, because I don't know what the question means by better off, more politically efficacious or...
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
that's
better
the-
off is supposed to mean better off in terms of like achieving socialism. I don't know.
Then I would say I soft agree.
Question 33. The principles of workplace democracy and self-management are desirable.
Strongly agree.
Question 34. The government should be capable of assigning individuals to workplaces.
Strongly disagree.
I knew it. I was like, no way is Angela going for that one.
What, should it be
Okay, but what? But
incapable
think
of-
about how efficient. Okay, but think about how efficient the workforce could be if you could just tell people like, no, you're gonna.
Of course, all workplace relationships should be voluntary, obviously. Come on.
Question 35. It is necessary to establish a dictatorship of the proletariat as a transitionary stage between capitalism and socialism.
Strongly disagree.
Paste.
Question 36. The leadership of political parties in the progression towards socialism will always lead to authoritarianism.
I agree. Soft agree.
Question 37. The means of production, such as factories and farms, must be publicly owned.
Fuck, I don't... Is there specific... I'm sorry, I have to. Is there specific meaning in socialist rhetoric about what it means to be publicly owned? I don't...
Yeah, this is an interesting one, right? So, is it owned by the people who work there, or is it publicly owned, as in like it's owned by the party who claims to speak for the people, right?
Yeah.
I
my
personally, I think
instinct
it
is
should
to
be owned
say
by
yes.
the people who work there and no one else.
I agree. Yeah. My instinct is to say yes because that's how I understand this question. So soft agree, I guess.
I don't know that that's what that means. By publicly owned, that might mean that like it's got to be owned a little bit by every single person in society. I don't know the answer.
Question 38. Socialism can only be fully achieved in developed industrialized societies.
Strongly disagree. Extremely strongly disagree.
Question 39. Nationalism and patriotism are impulses that are unacceptable in socialist society.
Soft disagree.
There's room for nationalism and patriotism in a socialist society, huh? Tisk.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense because previously you answered that the international proletariat doesn't belong to your country. You fucking goofball. Question 40. Prisons are oppressive and antiquated institutions that need to be abolished.
Strongly agree.
Good. Question 41. Liberal democracy is a viable way of achieving a socialist society.
Strongly disagree.
Interesting.
Question 42. An economy is generally designed better when it is organized bottom up rather than top down.
Strongly agree.
Of course. Question 43. It is possible to peacefully convince the ruling class to conform to socialist society.
I'm going to say soft disagree because nothing's impossible. I just haven't seen any evidence that it could happen.
Well, you could probably convince some individuals, like probably some Engels out there, that could advocate for socialism. Question 44. In underdeveloped societies, a centrally planned economy is the best way to make rapid progress.
Yeah, if you want to progress towards your own destruction. Strongly disagree.
What? No. So this is demonstrably true.
Strongly disagree.
The Soviets went from a peasant society to a first-based variant society.
All right. Whatever.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Not that we don't like the
Yeah,
Soviets
no,
for everyone listening.
This is the thing. To call going to space progress, that's what I disagree with, just to be clear. Like that's
Okay. Well, what about going from like digging with like your hands to digging with like machinery that has like powered machinery? I mean,
yeah, being able to better strip Mother Nature of her resources and destroy the environment. Yeah, that's progress, all right. No, they're better off as peasants, obviously.
All right. Well, anyway.
All right. Question 45. Personal motor vehicles, such as cars, should be replaced with free public transport.
Oh, yeah, well, strongly agree.
Hell yeah.
Question 46. The global socialist movement should be led by a single party or organization.
Strongly disagree.
Good. Smart. Good.
Question 47. Traditional gender roles, such as women being homemakers, need to be overcome.
Oh boy, here we go.
I strongly disagree.
Yeah, that's the conservative we all know and love.
There we go. Yeah.
Sack of potatoes.
I mean,
I guess what I would say is people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want.
yeah, but this question is very like.
Yeah, no, they're talking about actively trying to like, hey, we should not do that anymore, right?
Question 48. Some small-scale destruction of nature is acceptable if it notably benefits humanity.
Yeah, I soft agree. Yeah, soft agree.
I would kind of like strongly agree. Like I would totally destroy a beehive if it cures all AIDS on the planet.
Okay, what about if we inverted this and said some small scale destruction of humanity is acceptable if it notably benefits nature?
I would also agree with that.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, so yeah, agree. Soft agree, right?
Yeah, soft agree. Yeah.
Question 49. It will be important to implement extensive environmental protections as part of achieving socialism.
Strongly agree.
Question 50. Experimental, environmentally friendly food sources like cultured meat are worth investing in.
Strongly agree.
Question 51. The state can be best defined as a monopoly on violence and oppression.
I soft disagree.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's a shitty definition of the state. That's all.
Well, I mean, isn't it sort of true, right? I mean, the state is whoever has the power to.
It defines some of the things that make up a state, but
okay. Well, what I mean, if a state didn't have those other things but did have a monopoly of violence, they would still be a state, right?
Nope, because the caveman with the biggest rock is not a state.
Well, all right, if you say so. What other features are necessary for a state?
No, a guy walking around with his hand on the launch the nukes button, walking around towing a nuke in a little red wagon around and threatening people. That's not a state. Sorry, just because he has a monopoly on violence.
To him, right?
No. If his interest, if he says you need to eat poop, and he like goes to each person, he's like, you need to eat poop, and he has no interest in organizing a body of governance, then no, it's not a state.
Right.
That is a body of government.
But is everybody
that government,
eating poop?
Therefore, it's an obligation to eat poop in that government.
Oh my God.
Wait, hold on.
It's your analogy.
Is everybody eating poop?
Yes.
Okay. So on his say-so, he said, you all got to eat poop, and they're eating poop. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like he's the lawman. You know, he's the guy in charge, right?
Yep. In theory, he has the power, and this is true of any situation you might. If you get mugged, the mugger is not the state because he demanded your money and you gave it to him.
In that moment, they
That's not what a state is. That's not what a state.
What law is applying at the moment that they're taking my wallet?
A state operates.
It's the law that they said, which is give me your wallet. Right?
The state operates in order to. No, it's not just violence, right? Violence is the vehicle by which the state enforces its preferences, but the state operates theoretically as a representative of the continuance of governance. It doesn't have to be a representative of the people's desire for the continuance of governance, but it operates as the representative of continuance of governance, where it says, by our authority, whether this is true or not, we govern, dictate, and so forth, so that society continues, not just so that everybody eats poop or hands their wallet over.
Question 52. Capitalism will induce its own demise through contradictions that result in crisis.
Yeah, strongly disagree.
Obviously, you can do fascism instead.
Yep.
Question 53. Human population growth must be curbed to prevent an ecological disaster.
Strongly agree.
So you're pro-Holocaust, you piece of shit.
I don't think that Hitler ever said he was attempting to curb ecological disaster. Anyway.
Question 54. A highly centralized planned economy is not socialism, but rather state capitalism.
Strongly agree.
Yeah, that's just correct. Question 55. A socialist revolution is made inevitable by the conditions of capitalism.
Strongly disagree.
Question 56. You cannot achieve a social society without also making significant social progress.
Yeah, I think I disagree with that.
You think you can hate the gays and still get workers' rights?
There doesn't seem to be anything at all which would stop a society from having the means of production owned by workers and hating gay people. There doesn't seem to be any contradiction inherent.
What about gay workers?
I mean, gay workers can already, like in the US, for instance, participate in the wage economy, but still be hated, right? It already works. Like we already have a system which can manage the two.
All right. Strongly disagree then. Question 57. We must accept that the social state of the 20th century failed to seriously address the environmental issues.
Strongly agree.
Question 58. Oppressed people have the right to engage in a violent uprising when all other options have been exhausted.
I don't feel comfortable answering this question.
For the audience, you know what the correct answer is, but it's a pass for legal reasons.
The very idea that I get to tell someone who's being violently oppressed what they do or don't have the right to do that's why I don't want to answer the question. Like, it's such a weird question to be like, do you give permission to violently oppressed people to do something?
But
it's so weird.
But you do believe that they do have an inherent right to make that stipulation themselves.
I have no idea if people even have inherent rights. What I do know is that I'm not going to stand in anybody's way who's being violently oppressed.
All right. I think you've answered enough.
How would you
I'll
judge
put
them?
neutral.
Would you consider them to be an immoral person for doing so?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to just put neutral, unsure for safety reasons. Question 59. Foreign officials have no right to dictate policy in another country.
Is this like a trick question? Of course, I strongly agree.
Do you know what country they're referring to?
No.
I think this question has a very, very, very specific country in mind. Can you guess?
That country is the United States.
Yeah.
Anyway, question 60. The fact that so many workers vote for bourgeois parties over socialist parties is proof that party policies are no longer relevant.
Party politics.
Fuck. Party politics.
I think I understand the gist of the question. I'll say I agree.
Yeah. Question 61. From each according to their ability to each according to their needs is a good principle.
Strongly agree.
Whoa, look at you.
Oh,
Question 62. Marriage is a patriarchal social construct that should be phased out.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah, whatever.
Wow.
Whatever.
Wow. Backward reactionary. Trying to keep women
you see,
enslaved to men.
Yeah, that's right. This is just him feeling insecure that he can't keep a woman without marrying her.
Hey, look, I get it, Animal. I hate women too. It's fine.
Okay. Question 63. Social political parties should participate in liberal democratic elections.
I agree. Soft agree.
Question 64. Total economic and social equality is realistically possible to achieve.
I'll soft agree with that.
It's a nice little utopian vision.
Yeah, I could see some things that we might call total economic equality.
Question 65. Redistributing wealth away from the wealthy through taxes is a viable way of defeating inequality.
I'll soft agree. It's viable. It will help. It can't be the only solution.
That seems like you're disagreeing with it, but that's fair.
Question 66. The negative consequences of a revolution generally outweighs the advantages.
This is another thing I'm going to say I just don't know enough about. I don't know historically what the...
I feel like I agree also. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. So many of these questions are about like, well, what would be the best strategy and what is the right way to go about having, a socialist utopia or whatever. And a lot of this, it's like, I don't know what the best solution is. I'm not ideologically committed to any of these answers.
Question 67. Reforming capitalist society to achieve better rights for workers is desirable.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was strongly...
So some people would say no, because if it's better for workers, then they're less likely to throw off their chains and, get rid of capitalism, right? They're more comfortable with it.
Yeah, and I would ask those people this question. Let's say, and while I don't think it's the likely outcome, let's say through compromise, we achieve the same level of happiness in a capitalist society for workers that you would in a socialist society would you, on principle, still demand a socialist society? Like, if it's not about that, right? Then
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not specifically about happiness. It's more about justice, right? It's a question of power relationships.
sure, yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Like what if you found out? What if it turned out that you would be happier if some alien told you what to do all day, every day, and you followed their instructions unquestioningly?
Well, have I got news for you? There is this alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm saying, right?
No, I see what you're saying. But I can't. I think in the moment, I think I just have to go with my gut and say it's wrong to deprive someone of what might be their only reprieve as a worker until they die, right? Because of
Yeah,
capitalism.
no, I agree. I mean, I think reform is important. Also, I'm not totally convinced that it's bad for socialism. Although sometimes some of these reforms can just mean pushing, harms out onto the third world, so that way we don't have to think about them, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I forgot which one was it.
Strongly
Yes.
agree.
Yeah, strongly agree.
Question 68. Society is chiefly driven by individuals and ideas.
Strongly agree.
Now, okay, so you say strongly agree here, but that is an anti-materialist standpoint.
No, ideas are
Yeah, because
material.
that's what
previously-
this question's about.
Previously, you did answer that you believe material conditions are what drives a society.
Yeah, ideas and people are material conditions. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's fine. No, it could be.
Jeez.
Don't. I think you're on the right answer there. That is the right answer. That it's both. Right? It's both materialism and idealism.
So which one is it? Strongly agree or disagree?
I think I agree. A soft agree, just to not look like a complete hip.
Question 69. Climate change is a major global threat that all societies must fiercely combat.
All socialists.
Strongly agree.
Question 70. Workplace democracy within capitalism is an acceptable alternative to a complete socialization of the economy.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah, me too. Actually, partially because I don't think. I mean, the biggest villain in capitalism, in my opinion, are the landlords, not the. I mean, the bosses suck, but the landlords are really bad.
Yeah, and
I
banks
think
with
the
their
cops are worse.
banks, landlords. Yeah, no. The issue is that if you still have a debt-based rental system, democratizing the workplace is like just the first step, right, in fixing
Yeah,
that.
it's like it's one thing, but that's what I'm saying is like in terms of who has the most power over my life, right? Like, is it the banker, is it the landlord, or is it my boss? Well, I mean, I don't know. My boss obviously has a lot of power over my life, but it's limited to the hours where I'm at work.
I take it, right? If it was on the ballot, you're
very
like,
personally.
I take it if it was on the ballot, right? Socialized workplaces and nothing else, then yeah, I'm voting for it. But it's not
Sure,
an
yeah.
acceptable alternative.
So which one? I'm sorry, which one was it?
Strongly disagree.
Question 71. Abortion is an immoral act that should be banned or significantly limited.
I will soft disagree.
I mean, you think it's moral, but not necessarily the state should limit it, right?
Right, yeah.
Question 72. Trade unionism has been largely corrupted by the ruling class and is no longer a viable structure for a socialist organization.
This is another one I'm really not that familiar with. I don't know how effective trade unions have been recently.
I mean, I'll say, the little experience from what I've seen for workers who are currently in unions today, right, is that it's good for them. It's still good for them, even though a little bit of union power that they have, it still puts them in a better position than their non-union counterparts, and it raises salaries for those non-union counterparts. But
Yeah,
I don't know
I
whether
would-
or not it's for a socialist organization. I mean, who the fuck knows?
If you're unsure, you're unsure.
I'm unsure. Yeah, I'll say much.
Yeah, you idiot. Of course you're unsure. You don't know shit.
Drum roll, please. Okay,
Oh,
let's see.
shit.
So
You're more
neutral. So neutral on revolution versus reform. Neutral on
Okay.
scientific versus utopian. Very
Okay.
decentralist.
Yes.
Neutral on international versus national.
Yeah.
Neutral on, excuse me, slightly. Oh yeah, unionist on party versus union. Very ecological, very heavily nature over production, and neutral, unconservative versus progressive. So this is funny. This is often what I get when I take these tests, right? Eco-anarchism. That's the same exact thing that I get when I take this stuff, right? I mostly don't know. I mostly end up doing a lot of I don't know, or kind of wishy-washy for some of the other stuff, and then the ecological issues. I'm like, well, if we don't do this, we're all dead, and that's it.
Yeah,
this is good. All right, well, congratulations. You thought you were a conservative, but you are an eco-anarchist.
All right, I'm going to update my profile.
is it gay to kiss a bearded man on the lips? I feel like it's not gay.
Because your beards might touch.
Yeah,
What if I
which is
shave
the
mine?
case. You would shave
Yeah.
for me? That's nice. That's sweet.
Let's see, what else are you close to? Anarcho-communism, 86.5%. Democratic socialism, 83.3%. Market anarchism, 73.3%. And then drops off pretty quick.
You're no Marxist Leninism at all.
Yeah, no,
Thank
that's very
fuck.
based. Good. Fuck Marxism, Leninism. That shit sucks.
Do you guys hear that? All the other leftists, Marxist Leninism sucks a homeless man's toes.
Yeah, fuck theory. Theory is boring. It's for nerds. It's not really theory anyway. You're not doing science. Shut the fuck up. Fucking stupid.
Thank you for coming to the podcast.